Red Bull gives you wings.
Stephanie with the swing back with a double kill, 3 into the round. Juliana with 4 kills in the round.
And they just spam it!
And Kinsey has to hold it in the sight, make that even a third.
Welcome everyone to Game Changers, day 2 of our playoff bracket. Yesterday, we started with 8 teams. Today, there's only gonna be 4 remaining once we're done with them, and they're competing for this whopping $50,000 prize pool. There's a lot on the line, so let's get started. I'm your host, Lemmy Kiwi, and joining me on the Game Changers analyst desk, none other than Sapphire and Wyatt. Hello, hello. Oh my god, yesterday was nuts. We said goodbye to Overkill Black and XSET. Wyatt, I can't believe XSET are out already.
Yeah, that is the crazy one. Respect to Overkill Black as well for exceeding expectations, but XSET did not meet expectations. A team with multiple players with Bob Katsumi that you expect to go deep in every single Game Changers tournament. This is, for both of them, their earliest finish ever. That is a crazy result. That is the crazy result so far in this tournament.
Yeah, it was a really exciting first round. I don't know if we've ever seen this amount of upsets, I think. And you certainly saw some new faces in DSG, a roster that just recently formed, and we really weren't sure how they were going to perform. And even, great performance for FaZe. I believe this is, at this point, it's the highest they've ever finished. So really exciting matches coming up.
Yeah, there's highs and lows and upsets. That's why the script, we just throw it all in the garbage. But talking about the biggest upset of Game Changers thus far, Sapphire, FaZe losing to DSG. What was the biggest takeaway for you in that match? Because it was close, but game 2 did end 13-3 on Bind.
It was close. I think we expected more from FaZe, given the roster has been together for longer than maybe 3 weeks that DSG came together. We know both of them are on LAN, they're boot camping together. But yeah, FaZe kind of fell apart there in the second map, and maybe that's more of a testament to how explosive and kind of different DSG was playing things. That being said, FaZe still got past that first round. They're still in this. Normally, they've dropped out at that first round. So there's still a lot of hope for this roster.
Well, besides DSG, though, Wyatt, like FaZe have looked really strong this tournament, right?
Yeah, definitely. They've had their good moments. Most of their good moments, they came all against not DSG, and DSG play that really unorthodox style. They have really unorthodox comps, but in the more meta versus meta team play, which is going to be most of the matchups, FaZe have found a lot more success, specifically in this game against EG, who are certainly one of the better teams in the scene. Getting 2 really great map wins, amazing performance from their star duelist Emmy. So in a match like this against Shopify, I actually have higher hopes in a way than against a wildcard team like DSG, who've shocked everybody.
Yeah, I would agree with that. They play a very, I guess you could say, textbook style of gameplay. They're very old school team mixed with some new blood, but looking to Emmy here, like this is one of the most like exciting players I think in the tournament for me, because given how much history she has, her success, the world championships she has coming from Counter-Strike, and now she's applying that to Valorant. You know, it was kind of a slow start a couple months ago, but just absolutely explosive. This team too has been grinding too. We're seeing them and playing in so many like co-ed events leading up to this, and the stats reflect here. She was just like, I think Fluorescent won the player of the game, but like Emmy was my MVP yesterday because she brought value to her team and lifted them to that win against EG.
Well, the stats speak for themselves. And Sapphire, this is a team that you've already hinted at that have spent a lot of time together, you know, competing or otherwise. And they're friends who can pick each other up when they're down, especially down in the lower bracket when the going gets tough.
Yeah, and I think, you know, like you said, friends, I think is a key point there too. That kind of is a difference maker for them. These players bond together. Like they built this roster kind of out of friendship with hope of winning championships again. But they've been together for so long, the core of this roster. They know each other so well, and when you watch them play in person, like they almost don't have to calm as much because they know inherently what the other player doing, what their team is doing, because they've done this for so long together. So I'm really excited about their future, and like Wyatt said, I think there's more potential here against Shopify. I think it's easier for them to expect what they're going to play against, and they're more familiar with this type of matchup.
We'll see if the power of friendship will prevail against a pretty tough opponent in Shopify Rebellion. This is their first time in the lower bracket in their entire GC history. But Sapphire, starting with their newly signed controller Sibui on the lineup, you know, having her fly to the facility just a week ago, what have you thought about her performance so far?
Yeah, I think, you know, Sibui has certainly you know, kind of lived up to the potential. She had big shoes to fill in taking over for Benita. It was a slow start yesterday in her first match. Not a great performance, to be honest, but turned it on as they got into that lower bracket and felt more comfortable. Like, you know, I've been in that position before. When you're that new fifth and you're stepping into the big game for the first time, there's going to be some nerves there. But I think as Sibui got comfortable, had a really great performance, and certainly is starting to fill in with the rest of the star-studded roster they have.
It's a lot of pressure to fill those big shoes, and the nerves set in, but you shake them off immediately. And in the lower bracket, there is no second chances. But Wyatt, with Shopify Rebellion being such a strong roster in this match, what does FaZe have to do to upset this?
For FaZe to have to upset this, I am looking to Emmy, who we looked at previously, to really be the linchpin. I think of all the players, frankly, on both these teams so far in this stage too, she has been the best. And I'm on the Shopify side. We were talking about Sibui just then, and I'm looking forward to seeing what she can bring to the server after breaking through that mental barrier that you'll often have, or you'll often see rather, with players when they join a new team. It takes that one game to get over the fear that they may have been feeling previously. And after having that excellent game against Overkill Black yesterday, hopefully we're going to see Sibui in that space, the space of comfortability and ease, because there is a lot of pressure joining this Shopify team, and for the first time ever, Shopify being in a lower bracket early on and being the new player. I would imagine it's possible. It's easier to feel some more like, I don't know if guilt is the right word, but feel like some more of that might be on your shoulders. And there's more that you have to do to actually rally the team back from the position of the new player. But I'm looking forward to seeing if that can be the case today, if Sibui can continue the momentum that she was building off from that previous game.
We'll see where these teams will build off of based on our map selection. So our picks and bans are complete. Let's take a look at where everyone's ended up. Just a reminder that FaZe are in this position after getting 2-0'd by DSG, and Shopify lost to Complexity in that very first round. So looking at the maps, Pearl, Ascent, Split. Sapphire, what's your reaction to this?
Yeah, you know, I think it's certainly a good pick on Pearl here for Shopify. It's it's been one of their like go-to maps for as long as I can remember. To be honest, actually, Overkill Black did get a number of rounds out of them there, but it's a map they feel very comfortable on, and it's almost like in a counter, I'd say, in a way, really like canceling that raise, like trying to not play Lotus or Haven, where we saw Fracture, where we saw a lot of success from the raise from Emmy.
And Wyatt, FaZe lost this first map of Pearl to EG. Like, should they be worried?
It has been a map that actually both teams are favored. Interestingly enough, these two teams have a similar approach to their map pick bans. Both like to get rid of Haven, both like to head towards Pearl. So one of the questions immediately when you're going into this is who's going to kind of waste their first ban on Haven? And FaZe, essentially, their ban is null, right? So Shopify are able to get rid of Lotus, where we saw Emmy dropping bombs on teams yesterday. And then after that, they're able to get rid of Bind as well. Like Sapphire was saying, it's the Raze maps, they're out. And Emmy's looked good on the Jet, but the Raze is where she's been just phenomenal so far. So having those out of the pool, going to straight Jet maps the whole time, and frankly, yeah, awkward maps for Phase 2, and that the Pearl loss, Ascent, they pick it, yet they lost yesterday to Disguise. It could come down to the map pick ban in retrospect as being what has really lost FaZe this series. And
for anyone looking at websites at home, or just maybe there'll be names on the screen that are different, Schmeedy is Emmy. Interesting rebrand. But Sapphire, when FaZe chose Ascent, they had a narrow victory against EG. Do you think this is a good map for them to pick in terms of building up that confidence?
Yeah, I think so. That was still, it was a narrow victory, but it was a big victory, right? Like EG is a team that we see could often finish in the top 3. So I think they're feeling good. I think they're feeling comfortable where they're at with that, and they're playing more to their strengths than worrying about their opponent.
And Wyatt, I think just the fact that we have to say goodbye to any of these teams in the lower bracket is nuts. And we mentioned it earlier, but you brought up this stat to me that this is the first time that Shopify have been in the lower bracket in their entire history. How much of this is a wake-up call to them?
I mean, it is wild. Yeah, the only times they've been in the lower bracket are because they lost the upper bracket final to C9 White in that rivalry, the El Clasico of Game Changers North America. This is the first time they've actually been in the lower bracket early. We've never actually had to see if this Shopify core has the resilience to run it all the way through when their backs are up against the wall. Now, I would suspect they certainly do, because the team has been together for so long. The trust in each other, the trust in the leadership from KP, that's all there. That should be the expectation, that this pressure won't affect them, but we'll have to see to know for sure.
Yeah, it's certainly new territory for them, but they did do it the World Championship. I think that's the one difference. They were on LAN. We saw like Sonder just came to life in that tournament. Like I think Sonder was kind of overlooked, and then all of a sudden Game Changers champs came and they did this amazing lower bracket run and took out C9. So they've got it in them. They've got it in them to do it. But that also could be some pressure on Sabui. Like as the new person, like it feels bad to be the one that just came in and your team is now in the lower bracket.
And let's talk about that trust and the flexibility that a team like Shopify Rebellion have, because unlike a lot of these teams, just looking at the roster, looking at their roles, they seem, a lot of these players, Sapphire, flex to different roles, whether it's Flowerful picking up the secondary duelist when she usually plays KJ, or KP flexing between initiator and control, and you name it. It's cool to see kind of the wealth of strategy that could come out from Shopify.
Yeah, I think so. They certainly each have their own deep agent pool and different roles they play, but at the same time, those are roles they've been playing for as long as I can remember too. So Flowerful goes hand in hand with you always thought about her with Chamber, and then Chamber got nerfed to bed, and now when I think of a Killjoy and Game Changers, my first thought always goes to Flowerful. KP is just a very flexible gamer. Player KP is like literally just a gamer. Like I think she just loves to try all the new agents and flex on them. I think one of the difference here is Sonder playing like slightly less and less of that duelist role and doing some more like flash initiators. I think that's a little like a new piece compared to what they've done in the past. But these players are really hard workers. I think they like trying different comps and seeing what's working. They've been second for so long, as long as we can remember. And I think instead of trying to do the same thing over and over again, well, let's try something different, and maybe someday they'll take down V1 in the NA finals.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned Flowerful, and for me, they've really been a standout on this team for as long as I can remember. And honestly, I don't think they necessarily get as much credit as is deserved. Right now, on the Killjoy, the performances that Flowerful, has been putting up in this stage, incredible. The chamber play last year when the agent was super standard meta was excellent. And now with the recent chamber somewhat buffs, bringing him somewhat into the meta more, we are seeing them take advantage of that again. It's, at least at the moment, not proving to be an agent that you can run as much as we saw him in the past, of course, but still, the times that they have now brought it out on Lotus, for instance, which is not going to be in this pool, we've seen Flowerful still have that prowess that we had seen last year previously. And in a lot of these games, incredibly enough, the KJ, the kills, the frags that Flowerful's putting up have also been a reason why they're crossing the finish line, having successful map wins. So to me, truly one of the standout players of the scene that does not get enough credit.
Well, you put a spotlight on her now, and FaZe, on the other hand, they're looking to be in that spotlight. Sapphire, the Hamboigas roster that got picked up here, didn't have the most incredible results, but they did pick up a coach, 2 weeks ago in Calypso? And how much of a difference do you think coaches make in Valorant, just to maybe sort out the team internally, keep them structured? What does Calypso bring?
Yeah, I mean, Calypso is a veteran. Just like those players, Calypso has been around for a long time, playing Counter-Strike before moving over to Valorant, played with a number, I'd say, tier 2, scratching the surface of tier 1 in North America. Calypso has a lot of veteran experience, I think, to bring to the scene. The players, just in general, I think the coaches do a great job of just helping to, organize their mindset, not just in-game strategy, but a lot of it is mental and how to calm their nerves. And I think that's very important, because when you're down against a team like DSG and they got absolutely smashed the other day, you need to have that experience to be able to brush it off and come with your best foot forward today against arguably the number 2 team in North America.
Yeah. I mean, coaching on the other side, you just have the brain trust of Rob Wiz and KP that have been working together for how long now? I mean, since at least over a year or something more than that. It's hard to remember at this point, but it's a FaZe team that, as previously mentioned, have been seriously, putting their nose to the grindstone this year post this signing to the org, going up against a team that has a massive amount of experience, and they're trying to play catch up. They're trying to get to that same amount of experience that Shopify have, and that's certainly going to be one of the major factors today, of course.
And we're almost ready to get into map 1, everyone. We just had some crashes on the player side, so we're just giving them all the time that they need. But Sapphire, looking at FaZe's approach, because at least we do have some tape on how they operated on Pearl, running the Astra, Jet, KJ, Breach, and Sky. Of course, there's so many different interpretations of how you want to run Pearl depending on the team. What do you think about FaZe's approach on Pearl?
Yeah, it's certainly, and maybe I take my point of view from being an observer so long, and Pearl is an absolute nightmare to observe, because we're always doing Viper,
I'm truly sorry.
Harbor comps. It's actually refreshing to see something a little different with the Astra and the Breach.
Well, I'm finally excited to get into Pearl, so welcome to Observing Hell, everyone, and let's send it over to our casters, Van Sillington, for the action.
Thank you so much. Well, how can I put this?
Lemon, Wyatt, Sapphire. I don't know. I just named all the names instead of like putting it all into
like
one.
a big word. Yeah.
Exactly, with like all in one syllable. I can't do it, but it doesn't matter. Let's focus on this game. Riv, good to be back on the mic with you. We're getting ready for the first map, best of 3 between FaZe and Shopify Rebellion. This is actually going to be an elimination series, and we have plenty of time to look through the agent composition right now. This is going to be very fun because I always thought when I was looking at Pearl and you're looking at Bleed and Crazy Guys bringing out a Silva, they're like changing the meta of how this map's being played. And then now more and more I'm seeing Game Changers teams rather adding even a KO into it for a double initiator, and it seems to be quite surprising for all these plays.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what happens. You don't get the rest of the setups you have in the beginning. We don't have our cascades. There's still a chance for some fake things to do with smokes and whatnot, but yeah, the peaks that we're going to get in the beginning, the site takes, the retakes, playing for post plant now that we have a breach here a little bit more, this is going to spice things up.
Oh, definitely. And to look at the head-to-head and what the desk was talking about too, we're just waiting to see if we potentially could get this to a third map. But if you're looking at the first two maps where usually you have FaZe playing a Jet instead of a Raze here. And we'll see if hopefully they have some sort of way to actually defeat Shopify Rebellion at least one of these 2 maps, so that Split should technically have that Raze coming out. We might see here just let me pop off on that agent. That said, though, going to be still map 1 and 2 that they have to overcome. A map where both of these teams, once again, are very, very comfortable on, but getting more results in terms of like 100% win for Shopify Rebellion because they've only played it twice, while you have on the other end a 2-2 record there for FaZe Clan.
I feel like a sense one of those is almost getting the same treatment as Pearl. Obviously not played the same. Sense been around forever, but everybody's trying to see what's next. What can you do? Loud ran it for so long, and we were just had controllers and whatnot, and then initiators, and now everybody's like, well, what else can we do? How can we change this? Chambers back. What can we mix in? So yeah, I think the first one's going to be tough here coming in for FaZe. Seeing how many rounds that they were able to get versus Evil Geniuses there is a bit concerning.
Yeah, for sure. And that second map, as you mentioned, I don't think there's going to be any changes going into that one. Everybody's playing the same comp, from Game Changers to the VCTs to the Tier 2s to Challengers to even Tier 3s and Collegiate even, if you're looking at Rebel Campus Clutch, which should have like those qualifiers happening very soon. But there's only one standard way really to play this composition, with from time to time maybe a Viper coming in there, but if not, it really comes down to that team synergy. And team synergy is one thing that's going to have to be talked about once we get into that second map with Shopify Rebellion, with them losing Benita in their roster and replacing her with Sibui. So once we have a chance to talk about that, or we have a chance to talk about it this series, let's go ahead and do so. But without further ado, thank you so much for your patience. Chat, we're moving into the first map now on Pearl with FaZe on the defense.
Let's go. Let's follow the Flowerful setup here. Jennifer's setup, how they're watching the flank, how they're guarding the sites to start.
Standing ahead.
Watch where the KJ goes throughout the map. And we're off and running here. A big stack towards A to start off for FaZe. They're ready to rotate and allow Jennifer delay time. And Jennifer plays the life and they get themselves to safety. We might even get a push through Vancilli. They may try to take mid to Art to get around Shopify here.
Yeah, this is actually quite nice. So far, 2 free pieces of utility used on the attack here for KP and Sonder. Both of them towards that B-Link, breaking a turn and even forcing a Trailblazer out very early from Diane. So that means that they're going to have a little bit less to get information here, and Shopify Rebellion has time in their favor to still pivot around other types of rotations that they want to do, but they're walking so far in the stack of FaZe on this A site.
Maybe waiting for this 0 point that just came back up for Sonder here. Shucks it over towards Art. They're in. Dive. The chaos is created, and Maddie's got a lot of work to do, but here comes the rest of FaZe.
Yeah, Maddie slowed down a bit, though, with the fault line, allowing for the rest of her teammates to move in across. There's that first blood coming in. Advantage for FaZe, though, as we do have the spike falling down. Aftershock right towards the church, allowing Emmy to pop off on these 2 Sheriff kills, leaving now Sibui on a 4 versus 1. Left. Keep an eye on that. Looks like Shopify Rebellion, they do want to play a couple of lurk plays in this game, as she's about to get this backstab onto Jennifer as they come head-to-head.
There's one.
Last 2.
Emmy here.
Yeah, just a flash,
No
waiting
HP.
for the timing. I mean, time's now in the favor of FaZe. 10 seconds left on the clock.
10 seconds left.
Full smoke coming out. Emmy with the 3rd in the round. huge start now for the duelist of FaZe.
And if you were thinking that taking Emmy off the Rays gonna slow him down at all,
Not yet.
Getting 3 to start with the Sheriff too, using the smoke perfectly on the right side there, and really great job by Maddie, playing the life in the site, creating a lot of chaos, and like you mentioned, that fault line to just delay everything initially. Really well played. Great call on the first round of defense here by FaZe, and now they set up a little bit more default across the map to receive what Shopify will start. A little bit of more of a B pressure here. Emmy up already in the scope.
FaZe early rotate. Nice little tap there by Emmy. Saunder is trying to break across our placement, but poor FaZe are trying to gather info early. Had that flash coming out towards the long A. Nobody spotted, and then, well, you know, we could just play the range that we have. We have the opportunity here with the long Marshall, and the rest are just pivot in their anchor, anchor in their spots.
Yeah, like little surf, like 180, 360 Saunder pulled there, like you said, breaking crosshair placement. It's always about the jumper, but can that person hit the shot? I mean, a little too fast. So now we have the play back towards A, avoiding the KJ utility quite well here. Let's see what Panini can provide.
Got it. Pulling them.
Nothing yet. Was trying to get a punish.
Nothing yet.
Yeah. And it's Lori trying to get that pick towards that site, but Diane and the rest of FaZe once again rotated inside the safe site. No opportunities to set up here for Shopify Rebellion. Easy defuse, 2-0 on the scoreboard for FaZe, and now we have a chance to talk about it a bit. When I talked about that synergy, right, that probably has to really shine now for Shopify Rebellion. Not only as we've seen last week here, KP was mentioning when she arrived here in Toronto, unfortunately, with the rest of Shopify Rebellion, fell a little bit ill, so different players had to step up to the plate. But not only that is, remember last year we had the conversation with KP during the Game Changers, as she mentioned, Benita in the roster allows her to do a little bit more here. But this time you don't have Benita around, you don't have that veterancy, so now the new players also have a little bit more to carry.
Everybody picks up a little bit of that job, right? You have a little more to be concerned about, think about, and you cannot just make those angles something you're taking.
Yeah.
Oh, shark attack.
A little bit of a trap play being done. Nice gravity well allowing Emmy to push forward, and that denies 2 players already running through as Shopify Rebellion. We're trying to take control at least of the A orb side, so a great start for FaZe. That's 2 rifles left behind that they could pick up. But thankfully here for Shopify Rebellion, you already have a lurk from KP up towards long B, and the rest of the players meeting up with her.
Slow roll, great positioning here by KP. Like you said, timing, they just have to wait now. Jennifer's going to give all the clues here based on audio. Has a little bit they can get out of that Killjoy utility, and this plant should go down. It's about the post plant here. First time we're going to see Shopify in a post plant.
Yeah. And as you make the rotate back, you see that Maddie still has the fault line. Is probably use it towards the back of the B site, but Shopify Rebellion doesn't want to play the crossfire, pushing, brute forcing towards the spawn and towards the B link. Already even up the tally. And that player advantage that you had immediately dwindles down, as now they can play the crossfire over here. Fault line's not going to do too much, and unfortunately it's only left to a Marshall and a Vandal to try to retake the FaZe match. Battle towards the back. Panini drops down, turns around for the second kill. Maybe doable at this point, just saw the last player moving forward. That's a recover coming out, hangs out Panini, and now the body's sticking out, couldn't connect onto the shot, and KP saves it for Shopify.
Oh, it's so close. Just as she was about to position for the shot, moving out to secure the kill is KP. We've been wondering when she was gonna kind of flex back in. Hasn't been feeling well lately, but finds a great clutch there going into the bonus round, and they're able to thwart that out. Got close though, a lot of damage done, so Shopify Rebellion's gonna have to sink back into the pockets here to do a bit of purchasing to go up against the operator now. And Ultimate's ready on the side of FaZe. Yeah. How many kills have been flying through here?
Take flight.
Very quick there for Emmy. Knife, so both initiators being used on both ends here. We have to get the early information, or trying to. At least we make sure that that pillar is clear, and I think there might have been a ping there on the way from the Owl drone onto Emmy. So pivoting back here for some mid control. Looks like they identified that there was an operator towards this B side for Shopify as well.
One of our slower rounds here. A little bit of mid control, Vans. Looks like Art's going to be the play. So how do they get through? This double initiator comp is going to, I think, slow our rounds down. We're going to get a little bit of the first attack. There it is. And the second attack comes even slower.
Trying to delay a little bit more. Nicely done here by FaZe. Now finally counter smokes coming through. Big knife actually. That now will nullify the utility for the defenders inside FaZe. Now giving an opportunity for Shopify Rebellion to get the plant. But Diane just swings out, gets that headshot into Flowerful with the full bang. Now finally can come out with the smokes. A push moving forward from Panini, but Shopify Rebellion are just fighting towards the defender wall on that cosmic divide. And now it's all up to Emmy on the 2 versus 1. Tap on the spike, not going to be really heard yet. Forces up the Hunter's Fury, so she knows where one of the players at. Now this could be another 1v1, but look at the passive play being done by Sonder. Well done here for last 2 players of Shopify Rebellion. The tap now, forcing out individual duels, and Sonder even wins that one too. And Shopify Rebellion tie the game.
Everybody's going down in these rounds. I feel like we're going to get a classic versus classic round at some point if this many people keep going down. What a battle on each time in the site. FaZe doing a fantastic job of holding, but then Shopify seems to get the edge on just a few frags that allows them to scale into site a little bit more. And now to tie us up here, Shopify has been getting to the site, and we see post plants in the last 2 rounds being successful for them. Let's see if FaZe can turn that around. Won't be on this one, but they may be able to pull out a thrifty here to squeeze another round in. Spikes down for Shopify to read this thrifty. They're going anti-eco here. They don't want to get messed up.
Still going to be very difficult, though, because you mentioned, yes, already an operator, already a Bladestorm out for Emmy in round number 4, but she had to try to use them both to try to retake the site and lose it in the process. So that's going to dwindle down, really, the economy and any chances you really have for FaZe Clan this time around. So Shopify Rebellion, they've been having a hard time maybe gaining some early map control, but when you give them the opportunity to get the plant and to play the post plant, they've been playing it to perfection. Now, 2 ults available for them that they could cycle through if they want to play it safe, could use the lockdown and then an ult command on the round after, or vice versa. FaZe Clan are getting a little bit of information here.
No way, this cat and mouse. Wait, it's going to activate again.
There.
Oh my gosh. How Jennifer is just mind gaming right now, and they don't even know it. All right, the site take's gonna come in. The flank's still gonna happen, but it could be late now due to this cat and mouse game.
It was actually a really nice knife kill here, so all the utilities still available on this breach being utilized now by Maddie. But unfortunately on the other end, we're still pushing forward. There go, playing through the smoke.
Enemy remaining.
Only 1 player is left. That cat and mouse game you're mentioning towards the A long from an alarm bot versus Panini.
Spike planted.
Hopefully they could do a little bit more in terms of damage. There's that first contact onto Subui, and there's the denial. Advantage now for Shopify Rebellion.
Still finds the alarm bot, Van Silly. Still finds the alarm bot. That's great. From one side of the map to the other. Yeah. Shopify has control of the map right now. This is actually getting a little terrifying now that they've had guns in hand. You mentioned just the other round, it was an operator. It really wasn't able to be used because the op was avoided. Cosmic Divide and the jet knives. Yeah. So FaZe, yeah, they have dipped into the arsenal quite early here. Let's see if they can get a few more rounds based on the guns.
A lot of pressure they can do here. The fault line's also coming in from Bart, so you're trying to gain the space towards A long, and it works out. Emmy getting the first blood, drawing first blood. 30 HP, needs to heal from Diane, and that's a great first contact there for FaZe once again.
Exactly. It's not something you see very often. Kind of the defensive first kill on Pearl over at A with a retreat. Usually that's an all-out battle. Multiple people are going down, so to be able to get out safely, so good here for FaZe, as you mentioned. And now that initiator utility is forced to be used, they have a bit of an idea, and this hit has been solid, but they've had Lori for this hit before.
Dive to counteract, pushing the defenders back though, as Shopify Rebellion will look to engage towards this A site. Lockdown even coming out on the defensive spot, at the default spot rather. Wallbang coming out from Sonder.
Yeah.
Is there going to be utility to try to break this lockdown? Unfortunately, not only the aftershock comes out, so that's going to waste the clock down as the advantage still comes in for FaZe though. Subui in the smoke, Trailblazer doesn't clear. as she pushes through a 2v1 towards the flower pots. It's traded off now by FaZe. Still the advantage comes out for the defenders as the last two players of Shopify Rebellion are playing full plant at A-long. First flash coming out to counter out the flash coming out even from the initiators of FaZe. As it just becomes too good here for Maddie. Supporting the rest of her teammates and FaZe. They fight right back to tie the game.
That attack by Emmy in the beginning of the round came up big. I think helped solidify that round, even though it does become a battle inside sight. Ultimate's used here, and FaZe is able to stave off the lockdown and the rest of the fight as Maddie comes up big. What do they set up for this? 3-3 now. And the first post plant that Shopify Rebellion is not successful on. FaZe is kind of reading the map a little bit better, knowing that they have to get under the skin of Shopify. Emmy is everywhere, back and forth. We just saw A push, now even with the Phantom back towards B. That Killjoy utility has moved towards mid. We said we'd follow that, and it looks like both Killjoys will kind of have a stalemate here as mid is the priority.
Yeah. Recon Dart 2 to see if anybody was playing towards the B doors very closely up towards streets on the defender side. So the goal now is to try to break the utility with the Sova utility. KP already running out of recon guards. Alan Drone, I don't even think saw the alarm bot, so there's still an opportunity to sound the alarm here. As for Shopify Rebellion, still holding this very slowly on a default spot to break the Killjoy utility, rather.
Yeah.
But an alarm bot's still up on street.
You see that positioning for Maddie. It's such an easy... You hear art, and you have such a nice fault line channel to hit anybody before they can turn to get in to that position of A. But it's going to be B, and Emmy is in a corner now. It's going to be 3 there to defend for FaZe.
Even an ult command as well. No support that could come out here.
Wow.
From Maddie as they both get dropped on the B side. Hold Emmy and Maddie both picked off by Lori and Sonder. This might be even a save off the rip unless they can punish some over-aggression out here from Shopify Rebellion. Kind of looks like Diane wants to commit for a bit. Okay, it works out. 2 instant kills might be doable now. Shifting gears are the defenders. Even a lockdown coming out on defense. And you're going to have to play the long range now, even the smoke coming through.
This is big.
Yeah, but a star has been placed down by
Star, yep.
Somebody has to tap on that spike right away, and there it goes. And the Nano Storm even out from Flowerful. It becomes very good even with the Recon Dart inside of the smoke. FaZe played right into the hand of Shopify Rebellion with the remaining players.
And they get a lockdown out of it, too.
Yeah.
That was very nicely done. I think we see there how big of a factor Lori is on the site takes, especially on Pearl, your jet, getting into the site or whoever's getting in at the time. But that dive in, Lori staying in the smoke and Sonder coming around to be the one to first fight Emmy. And then Lori, that little give and go in the smoke, popping out like a jack in the box there. We see how important Lori is to takes and being alive for those. And how much it hurts if Emmy is able to get that first kill again. So I cannot wait to see if those two get some head-to-heads here in the beginning of these rounds. It definitely changes the flow of it for sure.
Yeah.
Towards A for this one. Flank always being watched by Panini here and has a pretty good read on the rest of the map. I think it's helping Shopify out quite a bit. You mentioned it in the second round or the third that, you know, Benita being that voice with everyone stepping up the information. How do you reach that level again, right? How do you get back to that point? And Shopify stay close. This is only one of the first lower brackets we've seen them in. So they still have that caliber of play even with this squad here. It's just taking a little bit more.
Definitely been working out so far. Still has been back and forth, but 2 occasions now that FaZe Clan has been forced to play on some very low buys. Still very far away from Blade Storms is Emmy since the heat start that she's gone in the first round and second round. Trying to delay a bit now for Jennifer. She pops both Nano Storms as the rest of FaZe rotated across. Now KP's the one watching the flank. The other ones, though, trying to dance around. You're talking about the Jack in the Box popping through the smoke, but the surprise comes back to them. Lots of rifles greeting them on the other end of that smoke. And Shopify Rebellion, they're able to string 2 rounds together now.
Yeah, these ones are a little bit cleaner as well, just based on how the fights are playing out. A lot of members of Shopify alive, building the economy And that means I think Lori takes more chances, right? I feel like there's things we haven't even seen yet. Lori dives into these sites with a dart overhead and just starts shooting out of smoke, right? A lot of little combinations. And Sonder on the KO is helping to distribute Shopify where they need to go based on 0 points or when they can do it. I like this double initiator comp they have going against FaZe right now. And Shopify has been able to hold the post plant quite well too. So
yeah,
you can't really
get
on them for the before or the after.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. Shopify being really good on the post plants when the spike is down. Yes, even if you're looking at the 5 rounds that they've won have all been through eliminations, but at least 3 or 4 of those have been through spike plants going in for Shopify. So what's good for FaZe at least is, again, the initiation and the first kills that they're able to get if they want to add that pressure against Shopify. But now you have to figure out, okay, there's always going to be somebody watching the flank. If it's not going to be here, KP, it's most likely Sabui. You got to get rid of those 2 players if you're going to try to initiate some flanks. If not, you got Stars, you got Nanostorms, you got Shock Darts, you got a KO Molly for post-plant utility. There's just too much, so you have to start isolating a little bit more and not allow Shopify Rebellion to really set up in these post plants.
Timeout comes with Rolling Thunder up. And this would be a huge round, a very big impact round to stop the economy of Shopify and put FaZe back in this game. So coming out of this timeout, FaZe need a bit of a return on that investment. Pushed up already. Emmy in a very dangerous position here, but that fault line or Rolling Thunder could be ready to get him out.
1 minute mark. Close to it to try to get some information. Did hear the Vandal, though, so there is going to be a little bit of pressure towards the mid. And look how you activate on the defender side. Pushing out towards long B, crossfiring towards the streets. You're trying to make sure here that you can isolate against Shopify Rebellion. So I like the aggression that's coming out for the first time out of FaZe. Nanostorm to delay, and a peek across, and there's Emmy with the first blood.
That's the second round we've seen it happen. The team helping Emmy to profit off a kill right in the beginning. It's going to be a fast art take here. The reaction now onto FaZe.
Exactly. Shopify Rebellion been good on the fast pivots, and Lori gets swatted from the air by
30
Panini.
seconds left.
Plat will still come down, though, for Shopify Rebellion, but Fireful is on this backstab on Diane. Rolling Thunder comes out.
Didn't hit.
It does hit off the Sonder, I think, though, so Jennifer does get that kill, and here comes that backstab. But it's a little bit too early. Giving a chance now for FaZe to set up on the retake. Panini also drops KP, so now, for sure, we know where Fireful's at. And a wall of... a barrage of bullets pretty much greeting Fireful turning around the corner. And that is a great round for FaZe.
Yeah, what a retake. Like, very, very fast, confident off the Rolling Thunder, knowing the space they could take. It wasn't about hitting the members. They knew they'd probably lose a few, but like you said, it kind of just hitting one. They were fine with that. It's the space they could take. Very confident there, and the timeout pays off. Look at these defuses coming in. FaZe forced on these retakes as Shopify continues to just get into the sights, throw that spike down, and force the retake. FaZe is adjusting, and that's what we were asking of the team. Emmy back on blades. No operator this time around. The team's going to stay on the rifles and stay close to each other for FaZe. And same thing for Shopify here. The death ball rolls down long B. Dash in. Prep the play.
Now, no control of backfalls, at least for now. But it's still very slow. But at least you see the game plan. Look at that. 3 players on the flank, trying to find one of those flankers, and that's Sabui this time around. KP's still alive, but stuck at the pillar. Another one's watching that flank. That's Fireful. Lockdown being put down, so you have to fight around these angles. The trade does not come out. At least the stun comes through, but Fireful will have some support from KP. Seekers coming out will spot those 2 players. Trailblazer even on top of that. But the wall's been put up on the defense here. Cosmic Defies allowing the rest of FaZe to fight towards the front of the site. Clock is ticking down on that spike though, but you had to take KP down. They have a Hunter's Fury. It's going to be impossible now for FaZe to retake the round. Not even needed at this point as you have Jennifer on a 3 versus 1. Spike is going to go off. Hopefully even KO in the process. And she will. But the round still comes in for Shopify.
And this one, I think we look at where the X's were on the mini-map almost, right? 3 in B site, 2 at B long. It's just showing that Shopify is, once they have it, crashing onto the sites, in the middle of planting the spike, they're already setting up post plant, having that flank watch, already getting into position and locking down the site. They are causing FaZe to have to move so quick, and if you're a step behind Shopify right now, it just seems impossible.
I totally agree. They are so quick on the pivot so far, adapting on the fly. Hey, there's pressure on one end, let's brute force the other end. Four-player stack on street control in long B, let's just rush down towards Art on the A side. And it's been working out pretty well to at least get these spikes down. At least the game's still close. Here's that pressure moving forward. It's being heard. Fault line to come out once again, this time from the spawn. Hunter's Fury out, but Emmy still connects with the Sabui. So that's no stars to connect towards the A side. And that's where the pivot is for FaZe towards the A side with this mixed buy that they have. Rifles coming out, Blade Storm coming through. But the plant is still about to go down for Shopify on A.
Now you're saying it exactly as it's happening. These teams just reading each other. I love it. Now for the site take. Now for Shopify. Oh, it's the flank.
That pesky flank this time around for KP. Dwindling down the numbers of FaZe on the retake. Underhand throw, allowing Flowerful to move out from the flower pots. And that's Shopify Rebellion in the lead by 3.
Last round before the switch.
Wow.
Last round
Just
to use our
instant.
creds
The
and
moment
abilities.
that
Don't waste your
Cebu
firepower.
was able to give that call, A was hit, and they just upped the gut. It was almost like they're playing Ascent with the Sova. Just fire the ultimate into the site, displace the members of FaZe, find and take down. 7-4 now. Again, FaZe creeping away with rounds. Shopify, I love that FaZe is able to get back a few rounds, but Shopify stringing a few together. You keep doing this, and the game's over in your favor. They are loving that aspect of it. Flash for flash, just to deter any quick plays here at A and get some info before or die.
Yeah, it even almost looks like Sunder did it on purpose to get herself flashed here on towards Art. So there may be some sort of pivot towards an explosion on streets. You see Sunder even holding back towards the spawn, maybe waiting for a lineup to be thrown, and there you go. She did it towards the A long. So a little bit of a push and pull. Both teams really defaulting and playing it very slowly to find information. So you're relying a lot on the initiators to find all of this info until now as the Trailblazer comes out. Shopify have to make a move.
Get that fault line just a corner. These mollies are getting a pretty good return on damage. They do prevent Shopify from ever taking mid, but Shopify is also okay with getting rid of that. Ooh.
Yeah, walk-in contact for the attackers, so Die already dies long. And then you have Panini just holding towards the dugout. Fragment to push her out, still lands that shot there, being pushed through by Flowerful for that
30
trade.
seconds left.
Light now comes down.
One enemy
Trying to
remaining.
fight back at least if we can.
Trades? Ooh.
But the weapons are too strong here for Shopify as they're still able to finally find their footing here and take a good lead at the half. 8-4 is what we have for Shopify so far.
Wild stuff. Obviously, 3-2-3. They're able to get these rounds together. They do a great job of realizing that speed is FaZe's downfall here. The faster they can pivot, FaZe cannot react. So Shopify Rebellion kind of running that one textbook with speed and covering each other on the trades for the round. A-B, A-B, switch it up. I like it. We have for the second one now. FaZe, more rounds than yesterday already, so that's a plus. We'll see what they can get now on this attack side. Pushing towards A.
Here.
Doesn't look like it's going to be too specific of a pistol round here, but we'll have to let this unfold for now as they check for a push onto A. Looks like an extremity watch actually to start things off. And then a re-hit based on Shopify's movement.
Just to make noise towards the A side, now just holding W. What a shock dart through the smoke. Sonner, therefore, the 2 kills with the assist from KP. Now the surprise to the smoke. Too many players on the defense down towards street. And yeah, it's going to be difficult now for Panini. Once again, by herself, trying to initiate a lurk, but a lurk will not work when the rest of your teammates have fallen on the initial engagement. But at least here, Riv, I do like what I saw from FaZe at the beginning. The value that they have in a breach in their lineup when you're trying to add that pressure and slow down a push out from Shopify Rebellion towards the A side. That fault line could do wonders.
My word. No, I like it, especially with how if they can kind of read Shopify into those plays and where Lori might be playing.
Yeah.
I think the fault line
30
and
seconds
just
left.
breach in general plays really well against Shopify Rebellion, especially from what we saw just now.
I thought maybe crossing over the boxes there'll be some people grab weld or concussed at that point. You would have seen a highlight reel coming out, but not gonna happen. Everything's back to normal, and Shopify Rebellion get a beautiful pistol round.
You called that shock dart out. It was wild to see everybody turn the corner into the B connector here and just the yellow health bars. I was like, wait a minute. There's so much damage already. They're done. Really reading the play. Shopify calls their rotation around the map. Heavy setup over towards A. Wow. 2 stars. Kate Killjoy utility. It looks like the focus is from B here for FaZe. And they're going to walk this up. Just the Sheriff for Panini's, though.
Oh. And using a long range.
Sander ready.
Ball line 2, maybe with the flashes. There you go, trying to push that away. Allowing Emmy to dash forward. Will get stopped by an Aljon. Information on all 3 players. And here is that push to pinch from the pillars at the same time. Lori jumping out. That's 2 little quick kills by the Guardian, and even stars to assist coming out from Sabui. All the way from the A side just makes it so difficult now for FaZe to really pinch through towards this B site. Shopify Rebellion really starting to run away with this game and really trying to end the first map very quickly here, Rip.
I think Shopify is so strong in these pistol rounds as well, so it's going to be tough. They're going to have the first few rounds of a lot of these halves. And you got to manage how many, or you got to imagine how many they're going to be getting in between based on just the structure and solid play that they're bringing to the game right now. And already being able to pivot around FaZe, that's tough. FaZe now with 4 against Shopify, who look like they could run away with this half, as you're saying. It's going to be that bonus round. Just a classic for Sander. I wonder if that becomes an operator for Lori next round. But Lori also hasn't purchased too much.
Yeah.
They're pushing A. This is all up to Flowerful for the time being here. It's going to have quite a party in just a few.
Double lock just to make it annoying.
Do it. Yeah. Oh, could. Why not? You know Saunders had it a few times. All right. In. Textbook take. Molly's cooking. Oh, wow. Just dancing right in death right now.
All right, nice little pick, though, for Flowerful in the back of the site. Connects on the second one, too.
2?
Bonus is just amazing for Shopify Rebellion.
No.
That's what? How many weapons are going to get out of that? 2, 3? Yeah, they're too far to pick him up, but damn. That's a hold and a half from Shopify.
And they hardly lost anybody. Yeah, Lori with the operator there. Sander, tons of money, only having to spend 1,700 with a weapon on top. Easy, armored up, and utility. And a 2 away here. So FaZe pressure's put on them, and we see a set coming up next. Even the Death said it, a very interesting pick, but maybe FaZe has some tricks up their sleeve for that. Here is still still going on Pearl, but defensive side just controlled by Shopify Rebellion. And this Sheriff round is going to have to hit big.
Need that back.
You do have the skills to be able to do that. We've seen the pistol round from Emmy on the Sheriff. This time, though, it's up against full armored opponents from Shopify Rebellion. Just anchoring so much utility towards this A side, right where Shopify is holding is where FaZe is headed. Now dancing and playing inside the smoke once again. Even a shorty on the kill.
Spike down A.
Look to see a flawless now.
What?
Yeah, exactly.
The reads! Honestly, even from a pistol round read where they followed them into mid from A. Just Shopify in the head of FaZe. Now for Jennifer. A quick flick maybe. A laser beam. No. The 4K for Sabui. Wow.
Match point.
Really, really well played. Just smoking herself off and staying in the fray.
Feels like there's been a few moments on this first map, though, where you're trying to clear or trying to push through the smoke, and there's just a little bit of miscommunication there where you can't capitalize on the person playing deep in there. I'm thinking of the round where FaZe was trying to play the retake in that flower pot, and the Trailblazer missed. I think it was also, once again, Sabui holding in there. So you're missing a little bit of that protocol of like the double push in the smoke or that type of clearing that you want here as a team.
Yeah.
And that's probably something here that will have to be discussed now as Calypso, the most recent coach that we have here for FaZe Clan over at the Game Changers, is calling out the last timeout that they currently have.
Yeah, I do think it comes down to you've hit it right on the head, is the lack of aggression awareness. How much that Shopify might push up, how much respect you're going to give to that. And obviously, they're respecting the fact that they're good players, but they won't do that again kind of thing, you know? But no, they're in their smokes. They're around that corner. They've already scaled forward. They were doing it on attack. Why won't they do it on defense? So that aggression has to be tempered by FaZe with those clears, with this utility that they have. You're coming in with the double initiator. You should be able to initiate almost more than a few times to make that work in your favor. And I feel like FaZe is going with A and not really leaving a B option at this point. Let's see what they have here coming in round 17, though. Maybe they have A, B, C. They give us the whole book. They're going to go for mid to start off. This has been the destruction of the Killjoy utility here at B Connector, but they're not going to find it this time. So how did they change it?
Hopefully the ABC in this book is going to be as easy as 1, 2, 3, and there's that first kill.
Oh my God,
counting. And already pushing out towards the spawn. This is actually pretty big here on the map control that you've gone up for FaZe. Then again, it's Emmy working alone with 36 HP. Like that she doesn't want to fully commit into this. There is that heal.
Yeah, it is nice.
Cut noise.
Slow down the map.
Exactly.
Slowly moving, but you got to be worried about Sabui now, pushed up in a different position again.
You are divided.
Just that little bit of aggression. Dance.
Right into the grab well, but at least it gets traded out. Spike is down, looking to get picked up. Cosmic Divide was thrown through.
30 seconds
As this
left.
will allow here the backpedaling from Maddie. Not until you see the position of Sabui on that radar. She was standing just on the other side of the wall at the company of the A side, so they know exactly the push is happening towards his B site.
Guarding here.
3v3 to end map 1. Spike going down here.
left.
Lori just on top of
Spike
this. They're
planted.
going to have to wait for the other two, or Lori just goes for the hero.
Here.
Ending the map for Shopify, or keeping it alive for FaZe. Fault line to delay out for Maddie. So you're looking for a flash pop. You see the setup here from Sonder. Has to try to work it back with that operator. Knife 2 in the corner. And that's Lori dropping down. Clearing towards the back of the site. A flash fully blinds Maddie. Nice little win there by Jennifer. Holding down the crossfire for FaZe. Clock is now ticking down. It might be the call down for Shopify Rebellion to want to try to save. Unless the arm shot connects, that second kill does as well. It's up to Jennifer now in a 2 versus 1. Not gonna get it! But I don't think there's enough time after all. That's why I was gonna call for the call to save that op in the rifle. But you want to make it expensive. I respect that as well. I mean, look at the economy you have for Shopify versus what you have for FaZe, despite them winning the round.
Oh. That was so close, but you're right. You saw the op switch with the rifle, so Lori could get in and use the rifle. That was comical in itself, the range of that pull. And then the ending round here, just cut the wrong wire. Unfortunate, but great clutch going into FaZe. A necessary one to keep this alive in their first round of the second half to finally get that post-plant one. All right. Ultimates are up here. The mid play towards connector worked. It almost looks like they want to run a repeat with a variation if it comes to it, but they're leaving this up to Emmy here to make things happen. Bladestorm ready, Vandal in hand.
Now, fault line ready too. Just on any type of reaction you have coming out, or at least on an initiation that you want to have. It may seem like it was some sort of pinch back fault line in the Ivy and try to get right behind. And it's nice that the 0 point also canceled out. But that's no information on how many players really from FaZe took through this mid side.
KP with the ultimate in spawn. Doesn't have to worry about the site covered. 2-1-2 if you look at the defensive side of the map. So perfectly can just rip that Hunter's Fury off from anywhere. And the lockdown. Oh, there's so many variations to get this round secured.
I agree. They're wasting on the clock here for Shopify Rebellion, and the last second attempt try to hit the site. This time, everybody's still pivoting towards the A side. There's so many stars, util, and 100 Fury to deny the plant. So you have to move quick now for FaZe, and there you go, initiated. Dash forward, 100 Fury already comes out. A kill coming out from Sabui. A second swing out, traded out by Emmy, and still in the back of the dugout. Emmy is doing everything that she can to keep FaZe alive this round. Hunter's Fury has now been canceled. Plant coming down for FaZe. A retake from Shopify Rebellion with the last 3 players remaining.
I need obscuring vision.
Panini just on the outside is Shopify now creeping in.
KP manages to get that kill. There's still a lurk happening from the flower pot, though. Keep an eye on Jennifer.
Standing ahead.
And as now the clock's wasted, far on the grab well. Jennifer cutting the rotations again. Another kill ensues. A 1 versus 1 on both ends, but it's a lineup instead from Jennifer to get the last 2 kills for FaZe Clan as they narrow down the lead that Shopify Rebellion had by half.
It's gonna take a lot of work. Sabui in the frying pan, firing it off a little whoop. Hold down the aim, reset, reshoot. 3K from Jennifer to end that one. Now the ults swapping in favor of FaZe so they can get something going. And you're almost on the edge of, I think this is where you're going to see Shopify Rebellion on a sheriff round next round. Yeah, you have money on KP, but it's not going to fund the whole lunch. Let's see what we got here. This is the same thing. This is a 3rd time in a row they've run this start to the strat on the side of FaZe. They approach the B main, and then they allow Shopify a little time before they hit Emmy being the first one through.
Yeah, and that's kind of like what I like from FaZe as well, is the fights that they have and the post plants that are playing towards the A side is really to try to add a lot more pressure towards the mid backside of the site. As Shopify Rebellion has always done a very good job getting ground towards this A main, especially where Sabui's able to push up in that corner. And now there's that
cheeky little dart.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
No, it's okay. I was gonna say there's that Trailblazer coming out. Nice little lurk coming out from Panini as well. And even a second kill. That's the off down too.
So much happening at once across the map. All these little things, the lurks as well that nobody was watching down B long. You have to be kidding me.
Now, are we overcooking though? We're going back and forth and back again to KP. Long range could have surprised some players here and is about to go in a 1v1 against Panini up towards long B. Fault line. Not sure if stun, but Panini's just holding the angle. So is KP. Oh, she turns away a little too early. And Panini gets 3 in a round. And that finally, as I mentioned before, a couple of rounds ago, might be a call to save. Still committed in the smoke. Powerful wins that one against Jennifer.
Remaining.
But Panini's looking for that ace. 4 into the round, watching the angles, and there you go. Sabui decides to pull back.
Really nicely read by FaZe. The moment I rudely interrupted you, I was thinking about the dart mid. So last time we saw that be a knife from Sonder. This time when the smoke went down and the same play came in from FaZe, it was a dart from KP. In a different way of that initiator utility. But for FaZe, super nicely worked around. They saw it, they realized, wait, okay, can't clear the knife, this is a different situation. Let's bring out B and C for this play. Let's make that happen. And then we see the versatility for FaZe. It took a little bit to get out of him this game, even holding on to the ults there. But yeah, they're partying just like these guys, having a picnic right here.
Yeah. And Les being one of those players that I could think of here over at Loud on this map that's always very good to creep down towards that long B to make it all the way towards screens before he actually gets spotted. Panini does a little bit of that magic to be able to get that backstab from that pinch they're trying to do from the Trailblazer in the second one, winning a 1v1 against Lori. Probably Lori never expected that peek coming through, a little bit of a crab walk to peek from Panini there to allow here FaZe to put 7 on the board on this first, well, now second half, but first map of the series.
Yeah.
Again, this is elimination game.
And again, the same strat towards mid. Emmy's not going to go towards connector, though. And the difference here, Shopify Rebellion owns the extremities of the map. Already pushed up, putting that aggressive stance on the map again. We haven't seen this from Shopify in a few rounds.
Yeah.
And I think that's why FaZe has just been able to roll over and get into these sites.
And that's a great call because the Trailblazer is the one that's trying to initiate towards the mid, usually for FaZe, already being used by Diane. So there's not really anything watching towards that left side cubby. And if Panini walks into it, could get picked off here by Lori. Instead, those Seekers come out for FaZe to work towards this A side. Counter knife doesn't hit anybody here from Shopify Rebellion onto FaZe. And we're looking for pressure down towards spawn.
I think that's actually huge because seeing Panini's always been the super lurk. I don't think there has to be too much rotation here from Shopify Rebellion.
Well, they have Rolling Thunder too, so keeping them in that area allows the Rolling Thunder to come out. So the defenders are now pushing up towards the pillar. The dash forward. Panini has to fight too, dancing around left and right behind the control as the rest of FaZe are moving into the B side. Beautiful ball line coming out for the assist, and Panini swings in for the kill onto KP as the plant comes down to the default spot, but the numbers have been dwindled once again for Shopify.
Panini was pressed. Still lives on. Ridiculous. 12 is, I'm so sorry. 12 to 7.
I love it.
Four alive right now. And it looks like Shopify is going to save. That's it. What a crazy round. And I think using Panini the way they are is so perfect.
Yeah.
It has conditioned Shopify to be like, whatever, there's a huge lurk on the map. That's not a problem. And then you have 3 people just absolutely plowing you over from the side, coming from B connector because you left that area. FaZe is finally working the B and the C part of the strategy now, Vansily. They're giving Shopify Rebellion enough time to second guess their defensive setups, and that is a hard thing to do against a team.
And if there, I was going to mention, if there's a timeout remaining here for Rob Wizzy, probably going to have to call that out. We talked about such a strong economy that Shopify Rebellion had when they rushed those 2 players inside that B site. Now the economy is finally broken, and FaZe are really finding their footing on the mid condition that they're currently doing. And you mentioned it, Riv. In the eyes of FaZe, they have great control of different things that they could do off the initial same utility that they're using at the beginning of the round, right? So if it's fault line to get control of Plaza and then bring that Trailblazer at the minute mark, for Shopify Rebellion, it's going to be, oh, well, they're probably doing the same thing again. Let's try to pivot and try to get those angles. And as they waited and waited in those trap angles on each extremities, finally you start seeing that they're hesitating a bit, getting out of position, and Panini gets all of that value on that battle on that 2v1 at Long B. So now maybe it comes down to, hey, we've been having good times with our crossfire setups here on defense. We've been doing very good here to just keeping it cool and let them come to us and win those fights. Is that going to be the change here for Shopify Rebellion?
Whew. I think the extremity work is still good. I think FaZe is figuring out basically how to wait long enough.
Time for
Shopify.
test.
Yeah.
And this is big too, to know that they have a set coming up next. Like, we're still on Pearl, so let's talk about that. But the mental they need to go into that next map too.
Taking that back.
This is huge. FaZe is night and day from what we saw versus DSG here on Pearl. And now they look to actually close this within 3 rounds. Emmy with Blade Storm up. It's only going to be a few ultimates on the side of Shopify Rebellion to deter the site take.
Need that back.
But FaZe can get in with both of theirs.
Trying to maximize the value of the Vandal in the hands of Sugui.
Yeah.
Now there's FaZe Clan moving forward. Another player hiding in the smoke. Will they get cleared this time around? Nana Storm being thrown first. There's that walkout. And not even needed to walk through that smoke. They're just letting the opponents come out of it. And we have now a flawless on top of that. So yeah, they narrowed it like you want it, Riv. The 3 rounds for FaZe Clan in a deficit versus Shopify Rebellion's 12. But that is why we had that timeout that previous round for Rob Wiz. What will Shopify do to maximize that timeout and close this map? Because that economy is shot for the defenders if they lose this one here.
Oh my. It's good to see the ultimates for use, but I feel like those can get burned in a round. Do you think you get that moment again where is it a save or a go for it? One kill comes in and everyone goes for it. And this is a go for it round right out towards mid. Lori with the operator. And instead of the extremities, Shopify went right up the gut. And the operator's known that quick.
That's it. You didn't use anything for FaZe. All you had to do was leave an alarm bot, or a turret rather. You heard the Owl drone, you heard the op shot, and you just saw the knife here towards the B site. So now Shopify Rebellion is playing with zero information and just counting on their op on the B side.
I need a
where now
stop.
for FaZe, they have the
Obscuring
element of
vision.
surprise to be able to split into the A site. The only thing really holding them back is the utility from the Stars and the Killjoy. But that's been brute forced and taken over quite easily by FaZe in the past.
Already into Art. Oh, wow. FaZe is deadly on these takes now. They haven't fully had it yet, though.
Yeah. Still 50 seconds. Tap on the spike. Emmy misses the shot. Element of surprise onto Lori, and the op shot capitalizes. Even a spike fall, so it was supposed to be a tap to try to rotate back towards the A side. At least that spike is out in the open where they can pick it up here at Art and rotate all the way over towards the B side. But it's a 5 versus 3 retake. Jennifer at least has a lockdown, and that could be very important to race that clock down.
It seems like they're planting close. The star was just placed by Pillar. That's just going to be for defense.
Lori trying to updraft here, or just jumping through to try to get the kill. Hit by the fall line, allowing the plant to go down, and instantly we have the lockdown out.
All right. Time being bought. Decent positioning here if they can guard and cover Panini, but it looks like Panini might try to take a 1v1 in the push. Van Silly.
A big flash! Runs away.
Hide.
So no opportunities to do it there. Now 2 of them fall, leaving only Maddie solo on a 5 versus 1.
Well divided.
Doing whatever she can, but too little, too late. Not enough when faced against the operator. Finally there after the timeout. Shopify Rebellion close out the first map, 13-9.
Woo! What a spicy back and forth. I think Shopify Rebellion calling that timeout was quite necessary in the end. Oh my God, look at me. Look at me. I'm losing my crap over here after that one.
Me too, man.
Some of those were wild. You're looking good. You're looking good. I'm just in the void over here. But yeah, seeing somehow those rounds went down, and then I think Shopify felt a little bit like they'd won, which is kind of scary because they stopped pushing, they stopped getting themselves out. It was more of a we'll receive and just defuse and get a post plant. And FaZe did not allow that. FaZe's site takes, the way they executed together, the amount of times the player was looking one way and then was attacked from 2 sides because of Panini's lurks and whatnot, I think was what was becoming their power once they had control over the rounds. So those for Ascent is absolutely what gets you into sight. Being together as a team, diving in, it's about the chaos. So I think FaZe could be in a great momentum position for the second map, but Shopify get the win, and that's where you got to give the thumbs up. Great play all around, and great first half from Shopify to really help solidify the win overall.
I totally agree with that. I think FaZe really found their footing here towards the later end of that second half to really start controlling that map, and hopefully they can realize how they're actually doing quite good in learning that map and learning the rotations, and maybe hopefully apply that in that second map that's happening right after the break here for the Verizon VALORANT Game Changers.